Have you ever noticed how people don't realize your value until you're gone? How your presence is ignored, overlooked, even dismissed, but the moment you withdraw suddenly, silence screams louder than any words you could ever say. That's the strange paradox of human nature. When you're there every day, giving, loving, chasing, they grow comfortable. They assume you'll always be around. But the second you step away, the air shifts. The absence gnaws at them. They begin to question, what did I lose? Why does the silence feel heavier than his presence ever did? This is the story of a man who gave everything to a woman he loved. He poured out his heart, his attention, his loyalty, only to be met with indifference. She thought she could do better. She thought he'd always be there, waiting. But instead of crumbling, instead of chasing after someone who no longer respected him, he turned inward. He studied the wisdom of the Stoics, and he discovered a truth so simple, yet so powerful. When you no longer cling, you become free. When you detach, you create gravity. Through silence, through discipline, through a complete mastery of his emotions, he rebuilt himself into a man who no longer needed her validation. He stopped chasing, and in that space, in that absence, she finally felt it. The weight of regret, the sting of loss, the haunting realization that she let go of something rare. This is not just about heartbreak. This is about power. It's about learning to command respect, not by force, not by anger, but by stepping away and showing the world that you will never beg for love. And when you embody that, when you rise above neediness, something happens. People who once dismissed you will miss you more than they can admit. She will miss you when you're gone. If you're ready to embody that power, if you're ready to master silence and become untouchable, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. I rise stronger in silence. This audio is the original content of Marcus Aurelius' Way. Unauthorized copying, re-uploading, or reproduction is strictly prohibited and may result in a copyright claim or strike. Now let's begin. Number 1. The power of silence. Silence is not weakness, it is not avoidance, it is power. When a man stops chasing, stops explaining, stops pouring endless words into someone who no longer values them, something incredible happens. He creates a void. And that void is deafening. You see, when you were always reaching out, texting first, making plans, trying to fix things, she felt secure. She knew exactly where you stood. She could take you for granted because your presence was guaranteed. But the moment you withdraw into silence, the ground beneath her shifts. Suddenly, the certainty she relied on disappears, and in its place, doubt takes root. Why hasn't he called? Why isn't he chasing? Why does it feel so empty without his voice filling the silence? The Stoics understood this principle better than anyone. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Your silence is living proof of that power. By refusing to act out of desperation, by holding your ground in stillness, you show that your emotions are not chains. You are not controlled by impulse, and in the realm of dark psychology, this silence is a force she cannot ignore. It unsettles her. It keeps her mind running at night, filling in the blanks with questions, doubts, and what-ifs. Your silence becomes a mirror, forcing her to see what she lost, forcing her to confront her own decision. But make no mistake, silence is not about punishment. It is not a game. It is about preservation, your dignity, your self-respect, your peace. The absence you create is not weakness. It is the shield that guards you from being disrespected further. And ironically, that's when the tables turn. That's when she begins to replay every moment, every memory, every choice. And that's when she starts to miss the voice she once ignored. Because silence, my friend, is not empty. It is full of answers. If you're done wasting words on someone who refuses to listen, if you're ready to let silence speak for you, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. My silence is my power. Number 2. Detachment is your weapon. Attachment is the root of suffering. The Stoics knew this thousands of years ago, and it remains true today. When you are clinging to someone, when your happiness, your peace, your identity is wrapped up in their approval, you hand them the keys to your soul. Every word, every silence, every little action of theirs becomes a storm in your mind. That is not love. That is slavery. Detachment is the weapon that sets you free. When you stop chasing, when you stop needing her to validate your existence, something remarkable happens. The power shifts. No longer are you at the mercy of her moods, her decisions, or her games. You are rooted in yourself. You're no longer tossed around by every wave of emotion because you've built yourself into the shore. The Stoics taught that true freedom comes not from controlling others, but from mastering yourself. Detachment is the art of saying, I want you, but I do not need you. My world does not collapse if you walk away. And here's the paradox. When you no longer need her, that's when she feels the pull the most. In dark psychology, this is called the reversal of dependency. The less invested you appear, the more invested she becomes. When you withdraw your emotional energy, her mind begins to race. She starts wondering, why isn't he clinging? Why doesn't he care? Has he already moved on? Has he found someone else? What once made her feel secure, your constant availability, is now gone, and it's replaced with an unfamiliar fear, losing you forever. But detachment isn't about faking it. It's not about pretending you don't care when you do. It's about genuinely choosing yourself first. It's about training your mind, through discipline, to release the need for external validation. That's why the Stoics practiced daily reflection, reminding themselves, I cannot control others, but I can always control my response. When you master that truth, you become untouchable. And she, who thought she had the upper hand, suddenly realizes the grip she once had is slipping away. If you're done giving away your power, if you're ready to wield the weapon of detachment, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. I choose myself first. Number 3. Self-respect over validation. There comes a point where you must ask yourself a hard question. Whose approval am I living for, hers or my own? When you seek validation from another person, especially from someone who has already dismissed you, you chain your worth to their recognition. Every smile becomes a drug, every cold shoulder a withdrawal, and the more you chase, the more you shrink. That is why so many men stay stuck in cycles of desperation. They are addicted to being seen instead of learning to see themselves. The Stoics would never allow such weakness. Epictetus taught that no man is free who is enslaved to the opinion of others. When you choose self-respect over validation, you reclaim your freedom. You begin to see that you don't need her applause to be valuable. You don't need her attention to feel alive. Your worth is not dependent on her. It flows from within. Every time you stand tall and say, I will not beg to be loved, you strengthen your soul. And here's where dark psychology comes into play. The moment you stop begging, the moment you stop seeking her recognition, she feels it. Humans crave what they cannot control. When you were chasing, she could ignore you because you were predictable. But when you stand rooted in self-respect, she starts questioning, why isn't he desperate anymore? Why does he seem so certain, so whole, without me? That shift disturbs her. It forces her to reconsider the value she so casually overlooked. But remember, this is not about proving a point to her. This is not about showing her what she lost. It's about showing yourself what you've gained. Every time you choose self-respect, you rise above the need to be chosen. You stand as your own authority, your own validation, your own strength. And in doing so, you become the kind of man who doesn't just attract respect, he demands it without saying a word. If you're done begging for attention, if you're ready to stand firm in your own worth, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. I respect myself above all. Number 4. The mirror of loss. People rarely appreciate what they have until it's gone. It's human nature. As long as you were always there, texting, calling, showing up, she never had to question your presence. She assumed your love was endless, unconditional, permanent. But the day you step back, the day you choose silence and detachment, a mirror appears. And in that mirror, she begins to see the true cost of her choices. The Stoics understood this deeply. They practiced memento mori, the remembrance that everything is temporary, relationships, possessions, even life itself. When something is abundant, we grow numb to it. When it vanishes, the mind suddenly wakes up, and that's what happens when you're gone. She starts to notice the absence, the little things you did, the comfort you gave, the steady presence she thought she could replace. They all return to her in fragments of memory, and each memory carries the weight of loss. Dark psychology teaches us that the human mind is wired to amplify what's missing. Loss feels sharper than gain. That's why gamblers chase losses harder than wins, why breakups sting more than the joy of falling in love. It's called loss aversion, and when you walk away, she experiences it fully. Her mind replays the things she dismissed, and the absence begins to haunt her. The same voice she ignored now echoes in her silence. The same man she overlooked now feels irreplaceable. But here's the crucial part. You are not walking away to make her miss you. That is not the mission. You walk away because your peace, your dignity, your self-respect come first. The mirror of loss is her burden to carry, not your responsibility. And whether or not she finally realizes your value is irrelevant, because by that point, you've already built yourself into a man who no longer waits for recognition. If you're done being taken for granted, if you're ready to let the mirror of loss do its work, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. My absence speaks louder than words. Number 5. The Stoic shield against pain. Heartbreak hurts. There's no denying it. When the person you gave your heart to walks away, the pain feels like a knife twisting in your chest. Most men try to escape it, through distractions, through rebound relationships, through endless attempts to win her back. But the Stoic doesn't run from pain. He shields himself with wisdom. He understands that pain is not an enemy, it is a teacher. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. What does that mean? It means the breakup didn't destroy you, your perception of the breakup did. Your thoughts, your attachments, your expectations are what create suffering. And when you learn to master your response, the pain no longer controls you. Instead of collapsing under it, you grow stronger because of it. Think of heartbreak as fire. It burns, yes, but it also forges. The Stoics believed adversity was fuel for growth, and heartbreak is no different. Each tear, each sleepless night, each aching thought is shaping you into a man of resilience. Pain becomes armor. The emotions that once crippled you become lessons etched into steel. This is the Stoic shield. Not the absence of pain, but the ability to hold it without breaking. And here's where dark psychology adds its edge. While you're building strength in silence, she expects you to crumble. She expects you to chase, to beg, to show weakness. But when you don't, when you rise above it, your resilience unsettles her. It forces her to realize she no longer has power over you. Your composure, your refusal to be destroyed, becomes the greatest revenge. She thought she broke you, but in reality, she built you. If you're done letting pain define you, if you're ready to wield the Stoic shield and stand unshaken, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. Pain forges my strength. Number 6. Dark psychology of regret. Regret is a prison of the mind, and once it's triggered, it's almost impossible to escape. When she walked away, she may have felt powerful, certain, even careless. But time has a way of peeling back illusions. When you vanish from her life, when your silence becomes the loudest thing in the room, her mind starts working against her. Dark psychology shows us that the brain replays past choices, not with logic, but with emotion. And regret amplifies every memory, twisting it into a sharper blade. At first, she might feel free, but then the small reminders start creeping in. The song you both loved, the smell of a place you visited together, the echo of your name in conversation. Suddenly, she's caught in a loop. Did I make a mistake? What if I'll never find someone like him again? What if he's already with someone better? The very attention she once dismissed now becomes the ghost that follows her in silence. The Stoics would smile at this because they knew that human beings are often blind to what is present, yet tortured by what is gone. Epictetus said, "We suffer not from the events in our lives, but from our judgment about them." And her judgment begins to shift. At first, she judged you as replaceable. Now, she replays the past, haunted by the possibility that she let go of something rare. That haunting is regret. But here's where your power lies. You are not fueling this regret. You are not begging, not reminding, not seeking revenge. You are silent, disciplined, detached. That's what makes the regret stronger, because she cannot reach out to you and find the same desperate man she left behind. No, she faces the reality that you've changed, you've grown, and maybe, just maybe, you've already moved beyond her forever. If you're done being a memory and ready to let regret do the work for you, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. She will regret losing me. Number 7. Attraction through indifference. Indifference is magnetic. The more you care, the more you chase, the more predictable you become, and predictability kills attraction. But the moment you stop centering her in your world, the moment you no longer react to every message, every silence, every game she plays, something changes. She feels it, and that shift pulls on her in ways she doesn't fully understand. Dark psychology calls this the paradox of desire. People want most what they cannot easily have. When you were always available, your presence lost its value. But when you become indifferent, when you show her through your actions that your world does not orbit around her, the dynamic reverses. Suddenly, she's the one questioning her place in your life. She starts to wonder, why doesn't he care anymore? Has he outgrown me? Am I the one chasing him now? That doubt stirs attraction like nothing else. The Stoics would call this emotional discipline. Seneca taught that the man who is content within himself cannot be disturbed by others. Your indifference is not coldness, it's control. It's the ability to master your emotions so completely that you no longer beg for anyone's affection. And paradoxically, this is when you become most attractive. Because nothing is more powerful, more magnetic, than a man who does not need what others expect him to crave. But here's the key: your indifference must be real. You can't fake it. You can't pretend not to care while secretly checking your phone, waiting for her name to appear. True indifference comes from building a life so rich, so full of purpose, that her absence no longer defines you. That's when she feels the weight of it. That's when your silence becomes irresistible. That's when she misses you most. If you're done giving your energy to someone who doesn't value it, if you're ready to master the magnetic power of indifference, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. My indifference is my strength. Number 8. Building a new identity. The greatest revenge is not anger. It's not even silence. The greatest revenge is reinvention. When a woman leaves, she often assumes you'll remain the same man she walked away from, stuck, wounded, unchanged. But the Stoic sees heartbreak as fuel. Instead of collapsing, he transforms. Instead of waiting for her to come back, he builds himself into someone new, someone greater, stronger, sharper. This is where identity shifts. You stop being the man who was left and become the man who outgrew her. Every day you invest in yourself, your body, your mind, your purpose. You move further from the version of you she thought she knew. And one day, if she ever sees you again, she won't recognize you. She'll see a man with presence, a man with control, a man whose aura commands respect before he even speaks. That's the power of building a new identity. The Stoics embraced this transformation. They believed adversity was the forge of character. Epictetus, born a slave, reinvented himself into one of history's greatest philosophers. His chains did not define him, his mind did, and the same is true for you. This heartbreak is not the end of your story. It is the beginning of your rise. Dark psychology makes this even more powerful. When someone realizes that the person they discarded has now become far greater without them, it triggers a deep psychological discomfort. Regret mixes with envy. She begins to compare the man you are now with the man she left behind, and she realizes she no longer has access to him. That denial cuts deeper than any words ever could. But remember, you are not doing this for her. You are not building yourself just to make her jealous. You are doing this because the greatest act of power is becoming someone even you didn't know you could be. And when you commit to that transformation, you no longer wait for validation. You embody greatness. If you're done being defined by the past, if you're ready to reinvent yourself into someone unshakable, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below, I am becoming someone greater. Number 9. Turning absence into power. Disappearance is not weakness, it is strategy. Too many men believe that stepping back makes them look defeated, as if absence means surrender. Nope. In truth, absence is one of the most powerful moves you can make, because when you remove yourself, you force others to feel the weight of your presence by its very lack. What was once taken for granted suddenly becomes priceless in its scarcity. The Stoics would call this discipline of withdrawal. They knew the power of restraint. Just as a warrior does not swing his sword at every shadow, the Stoic man does not waste his energy chasing what is outside his control. By stepping back, you reclaim your energy, your dignity, your focus. You send a silent message. My life moves forward, with or without you. That message cuts sharper than any words. From the perspective of dark psychology, absence disrupts her sense of security. As long as you were always there, she felt in control. She could ignore your presence without consequence. But when you vanish, her mind begins to spiral. Curiosity creeps in. Doubt lingers. What is he doing? Who is he with? Why doesn't he need me anymore? The silence becomes unbearable, and her imagination does the work for you. But here's the key. Absence is not about hiding. It's about rising. While she wonders, while she replays old memories, you're building, you're evolving, you're creating a life that is so full that even if she did come back, she would find herself staring at a man who has already outgrown the past. That is how absence becomes power, because it's not about what she feels, it's about what you become in the time apart. If you're done seeing absence as defeat, If you're ready to turn it into your greatest source of strength, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. My absence is my power. Number 10. The final victory. The ultimate victory is not making her miss you. The ultimate victory is no longer needing her to. At first, your silence, your detachment, your absence, all of it may stir regret in her. She may replay the past. She may feel the loss. She may even long for what she once dismissed. But the truth is, her feelings are not the goal. Your freedom is. The real win comes the moment you realize you don't care whether she regrets it or not. Because you've become something greater, you've become whole within yourself. This is the essence of Stoicism, power over your own mind. The man who needs nothing cannot be controlled. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily that the opinions of others fade, but self-mastery endures. When you no longer crave her validation, when you no longer measure your worth by her presence, you rise above the game entirely. That is the moment you become untouchable. And here's the paradox. It's in that very freedom, that very detachment, that she will miss you most, because she will feel the shift. She will see that you are not waiting, not hoping, not longing. You are living. And nothing haunts the human mind more than the realization that someone has moved on without them. That is the final victory, not because she suffers, but because you've grown beyond suffering altogether. So let her miss you. Let her feel the weight of what she lost. But don't cling to that outcome. Your destiny is not tied to her regrets. Your destiny is tied to your strength, your self-respect, your transformation. That is the path of the Stoic. That is the true freedom of the man who no longer chases, no longer begs, no longer bends. If you're done needing her to miss you, if you're ready to claim the final victory of complete freedom, hit that like button. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. My freedom is my victory. At the end of the day, this journey was never about her. It was always about you. She may regret, she may miss you, she may even wish she had chosen differently, but the truth is, none of that matters anymore, because through silence, detachment, self-respect, and transformation, you have become someone greater than the man she once knew. You've built yourself into a force that cannot be broken, a soul that cannot be owned, a man who cannot be controlled. That is the essence of Stoic wisdom. Pain was not your enemy, it was your forge. Absence was not your weakness, it was your weapon. Regret was not your goal, it was her burden. And the final victory was never about her missing you. It was about you no longer needing her at all. Remember this, the moment you rise above the chase, the moment you stop giving your power away, you step into a life where you no longer beg to be chosen, you choose yourself. That is what makes you untouchable. That is what makes her miss you when you're gone. And that is what makes you truly free. If you're ready to walk this path with strength, discipline, and power, hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment below. I am free, I am untouchable.